Hi, I'm Kathy Tidaldi, and I work here at the Denham Springs branch at the Livingston Parish Library. And today I'm going to show you how to make this swirly pumpkin. It's a paper decoration for the fall. I'm really in the mood this year. And I've enjoyed making these, and it's fun and it's easy, and I think you'll like it too. We're going to have kits available to give out at each of the branches probably next week, in the first week in October. And if you don't manage to come in and get a kit, it's something you can make at home. I used orange cardstock for the strips of the pumpkin and brown cardstock for the stem. I have pipe cleaner, a green pipe cleaner that I use for the leaf and the little, I don't know what you call that little curly tail that goes on it. Also, you'll need a green pen to decorate your leaf. This one has a name. This says Charlotte on it. I'm going to send this one to Charlotte. If you want to use these for name tags at the Thanksgiving dinner table, you can, or you can make a bigger one for a centerpiece. Ruler. When you cut your strips, you can either cut them with a razor and a ruler like I did, or you can draw lines and cut them with scissors if that's what you have available. Also, I used a little bit of green. You can use construction paper. I had cardstock, so I made green leaves, and then I used green markers to decorate them a little bit. Now the rolls, this is the perfect size roll. Now if you want to take a larger one and cut it down to size, you can. It's about 3.5 to 4 inches is what I used. And a glue gun. You're going to need something to glue it all together. So I used a glue gun. You could use super glue, if you're careful not to glue your fingers together, or you could use tacky glue or something like that if you want to hold it a little bit longer, or maybe use a paper clip to hold some of the things in place. So if you're ready, we're going to come in close and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Now, what you need to make this pumpkin, now we're going to have kits at the library next week. That's the first week in October, or the last week in September, and it's going to have everything except the rolls, the paper rolls. Now this is the size I like to use. If you have a paper towel roll and you want to cut it off shorter, it's about 3.5 inches long. So you can provide that at your house. The paper that I used was cardstock. You can also use construction paper, but I like the bright, crisp colors of the cardstock, so I use orange cardstock, and I cut the strips 1 inch wide. I cut 10 strips. So 10 strips makes a good pumpkin. Also, the stem. The stem, this is going to be in your kit. It'll look like that. And you're going to cut out the X parts with the scissors. You cut that away, and then you have this. Now before you glue it down, you're going to want to take your pen. See, I have that one a little bit curved so it fits inside the roll. You take your pen and just kind of roll it along that paper a little bit. It kind of dents it in before you cut it. Now, it's easier to do before you cut it. You don't want to do it after you cut it, or you're going to be bending it too much. But you bend it, you curve it. You curve it a little bit with the pen before you cut it out. And so then it's going to look like this, and it's going to be easier to glue it in. I am using hot glue from a hot glue gun. You could do it with super glue, or you could do it with a slower glue. You would just have to be more careful about holding it in place, or maybe using a paper clip to hold it in place while it dries. I recommend doing the stem first, because once you have these on, you don't want to bend them and mess them up. You want them to keep their nice, perfect round shape. So you want to do this part first, so you don't have to bend these after they're done. That'll be the last thing you do, is putting these on. So the first thing we're going to do is, the first thing is the pipe cleaner. You fold your pipe cleaner in half. This is the part you're going to glue inside here. And so this part is where we're going to put our leaf. I have little cut up paper leaves in the kits you're going to get. If you're not lucky enough to come and get a kit, then you can cut out your own leaf, and it should look something like this, or maybe like this one. And also, you take your green marker and you can decorate it a little bit. I'm going to move these out of the way for now. You can just kind of draw the stem line on it. Or if you want to put someone's name on it, you can do that too. Just anything to make it look a little bit more like a leaf. And on the side that's going to have the leaf on it, you want to curl it back kind of like that. Put the hot glue on the pipe cleaner. like so. And take your leaf and put it on top of it, like so. Yes, it's called hot glue for a reason. It gets on your fingers and it's kind of hot. Be careful with that part. All right, so there's your leaf. The other side, you're going to take one of these green pens that I have sitting here, or a pencil, and curl this around and around and around. Make it swirly. Make it like a little spiral. That's how they grow on the vine. You've got all these little wiry things like that. All right, so now we're going to glue that inside. Doesn't matter where, just inside your. See, I put a little hot glue in there, and I'm going to put this right inside against it and hold it for a second while it dries. All right, that part is all done. Now, I'm going to lay this. See, there's a reason I curled it, because I'm going to lay it right inside. Uh-oh. Stay dry, dry. There you go. There. Now, I'm going to put some hot glue. This is going to stand up like this, and after I get it in, then I'm going to glue it together at the top. But the first thing I want to do is get it into the paper roll here. So I'm going to put a little dab, put some right on top of the pipe cleaner, go about halfway the way around, about halfway around. And we're going to roll this up a little bit and put it inside of there. It overlaps itself a little bit, but you do want to press it against the hot glue. See why you don't want to do this after you put the orange strips on? Now, the part that you didn't have glue, you're going to go back and add a little bit of glue in there. And put those in. You're probably going to want to take the dried strands of glue off. No matter how careful I try to be, I always end up with a little leftover glue strings. So you're going to take those off. So this is what it looks like when you first get your stem on. And now you're going to take a little dab of glue and overlap these. You're going to glue 3 together in front and then 2 in back, so that it has a little bend to it. So we'll put just a little dab of glue on this side and press it next to this one. A little dab of glue here. All right, there's 3 together. That's the front of your stem. We just want it to look like it's bent a little bit. So now we're going to glue the 2 remaining ones together. Just overlap a little bit. Stick that together. And now we're going to glue that to the front 3. Once again, just a little dab will do it. I bet most of y'all don't remember that old commercial. Brill cream, a little dab will do it. Try more only if you dare. Okay, there you go. There's your stem. See? Very easy. Now you're ready for the fun part. Now, to get these in the right order, you want to measure and draw lines around your rolled up roll, your paper roll here. So we're going to forget about the glue gun for a minute. You're going to have one of these in the kit if you pick it up at the library. If you don't find one of these lines are actually a little bit more than a ½ inch apart. What you want is 10 equidistant lines, equidistant apart, 10 lines going around each end of your paper towel roll. So what I did was I wrapped this around it. It ought to overlap right on the lines. Yeah, good deal. Okay. And I'm going to draw a line on top of each one. I'm going to go back and outline this with a darker pen so you can see it really well, because once you start gluing things on, you're kind of working in the shadow of the other strips that you've already glued on. So, 10 lines. Done. Now, I want one line to be the starting point, and I want it to be the same at the top and the bottom. So this is the line that goes all the way. This is going to be the first strip I glue on. Okay? So I'm going to start there. and draw 10 more lines around the bottom. If you're a wee little bit off, nobody's going to notice. But if you're a lot off, it's not going to have that same pretty look that the pumpkin has. It's kind of geometric looking. All right, 10 lines. Now, you don't need that anymore, but I do want to come back with a nice little pen. You can use a ballpoint pen, whatever. You just want to be able to see these lines because that's what you're going to glue your 1-inch strips to. So I'm just going over what I've already got there so that it's easy to see. Maybe a darker pen might have worked, or a wider pointed pen. I just know from when I made these other ones, once you're working in your own shadow, you want to really be able to see those lines. So I'm going to change pens here to one with a little bit broader point. Pay no attention to that string of glue hanging from my fingers. All right, 10 lines that you can easily see when you're gluing, and they're the same distance apart. Okay, now the fun part. Now the magic happens. I have 10 strips here. These are 11.5 inches long by 1 inch wide, and I'm going to glue all of them around the top first with my glue gun. I put a little line of glue here, and I glue a strip down right up against the line, perfectly horizontal. You want it lined up with the top edge of your roll there. That's the trick. You want it to go, you don't want to slant it. You want it to go like it's going to go straight out and wrap around it. Of course, we know it's not going to, but that's how you want to glue it. And then the next one. All right, so you just continue gluing 10 of these around very carefully. Try not to burn your fingers. And you're gluing them perpendicular, straight out to the side. They're parallel to one another, out to the side. And you just keep going around. Try not to bend them. You don't want to bend them because they're going to go around nice and smoothly, so you don't want any folds. They line up really well that way. Just have to be careful, like I said, while they're sticking out there, you don't want to bend them or fold them, so be careful. Right up to the edge of the paper. All right, we're halfway through. A little over. We got 4 left to do. Like I said, you can do this with super glue, but be careful you don't stick your fingers together. And if you do it with tacky glue or something like that, you just have to allow a lot of time for it to glue, and you have to make sure that it doesn't move out of position while it's drying. With this, you have to get rid of the strings afterwards. That's the only messy part. And be careful you don't burn yourself. That's the other messy part. All right, 2 more. We're almost there. And the last one is hiding underneath the first one that you glued. So gently push it back, put your line. Sometimes it's easier if you put the glue on the strip, but for now, I'm going to go with what I've been doing. So I slide it up in there and hold it. You can even put the other strip on top of it while you're holding it so you don't burn yourself. All right, so I have 10 strips glued equidistant around my pumpkin base. Now, remember when I drew a line down between them? I'm going to take the one that's glued to that line, the first one I glued on, I'm going to wrap it around. This is when the magic happens. And I'm going to glue it to the same line down below. That's what makes it look swirly. And I think this time I'm going to put the glue on the orange strip before I line it up. Put the glue on the edge of the orange strip for ease of use, and just glue it to the bottom right there. And once again, you're gluing it perpendicular, straight along the line, no angles here. So when that one gets dry, you're going to glue the next one over. See, the next one over. It's going to go on top of that one. All right, wait a minute. The next one over to your right is going to get glued to the right. Okay, it's important to keep these in order because this one's going to go right here. I'm going to put the glue on the paper. This is the part where you want to be careful. This is the important part. And you're going to glue it to the next line that's showing there. Okay? Maybe I should put it. Let's try it this way. This might be easier. Okay, whatever way works for you is fine. As long as you can get the right paper strip. The next one is right here. You're going to bring it around, put it on your glue. That might work a little better. We'll see. Once we have to start sticking it into the crack, it might be easier with putting it on the paper strip instead of the roll. But for now, let's do this way. I think I did it both ways when I was making my samples. So whichever way you find the most easy and convenient. There we go. Getting there. You see why you want your lines to be nice and visible. And the thing, I like hot glue because it dries pretty quick. You can lay it down there and in just a second remove your finger and it stays. Next. I must be doing pretty good. I don't have too many strings sticking out this time. All right, we've just got 3 more to go. We're almost done. It's a pretty fun project. If you don't have a kit, you can cut your strips and do all of this out of stuff that you have at home or that you can easily buy, construction paper, or you can get cardstock. You can get cardstock by the sheet at some of your local copy places. Copy, not coffee, copy. All right, we're getting there. 3 more to go. Now is when it gets a little bit tricky. Just be careful you don't bend the paper. Treat it gently. You can hold it by the stem and get your, okay, now, that's it. This is my next one. I'm going to put the glue on the paper instead of on the roll because that way I can just slide it up in there. It's out of the way. This one goes right here. All right, 2 more. Yeah, this is getting a little tight. This is the only part where you have to be pretty careful. The next one is this one. Make sure you're getting them in the right order. Slide it in there and glue it to the line. One more to go. We're almost done, guys. This is the hardest one to get into the right place. Just ignore all the strips around it and stick it right in there. On the line. You can use the one in front of it to stick it down. Okay, can you see what I did? I squoze it in there and glued it in. Now, you got 10 glued down below, 10 glued up above. There you have it. It's not really a top. But trust me, everybody's going to want to spin it. Everybody that sees this wants to spin it. So you might have to separate the strips a little bit to get it nice and even. And there you have your swirly pumpkin centerpiece. If you want to make one bigger, you simply cut bigger strips. If you want to make one littler, you can cut littler strips. Play around with the sizes if you want to make a tall looking one or a short one. This is just the standard size that I was able to come up with, and I think that it came up with a real unique and attractive looking decoration for the fall. Well, there you have it. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you saw how easy this is to do, to come out with a really unique and different looking Halloween or Halloween or Thanksgiving decoration. It's a decoration for the fall that you can use all over the house. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for watching. Be safe, be happy, and keep reading.